Have you ever seen Black Panther? If you have, you might remember the car speed chase where T'Challa is chasing the bad guys on top of a car. And in that scene, the song that is playing is called Ops by Vince Staples, which is part of the Black Panther playlist. And Vince Staples is a rapper that today is pretty different from the rappers, the younger rappers, like mumble rappers, which are rappers that like mumble their words when they rap and you can't really understand what they're saying. And they also talk about a lot about like drugs and stuff. But Vince Staples, he although he does talk about drugs, a lot of rappers talk about drugs, but he also talks about the injustice in like prison systems, like cops, and like a lot of issues that we face today. And he released a new album in 2017 called The Big Fish Theory, and it sounded really different from the rappers that were releasing albums in that year. It had more of an electronic vibe to it, opposed to like a lot of like heavy beats with like the rappers that were releasing. And according to Entertainment Weekly, a quote on about talking about the album, this bracing set needed only 36 minutes to push hip hop sonic boundaries more than any other 2017 release. So it said the quote said that um, like the album sounds really different than what was released in that year, which is where a lot of like rappers, mumble rappers specifically, got a lot of exposure to the public. And in that album he talks a lot about like what I mentioned before, a lot of the issues we face today. And although in that album is not purely about like those issues and stuff, he does talk about like drugs and women, but you can actually like understand him. And a quote by Eric Renner Brown, which is he reviewed the album. Um, his best though is when he taps into the nation's anxious mood. On the propulsive backpack, which is a song on the album, he sees prison system, broken racial war commotion until the president get ashy. Vincent won't be voting. And the way I understood that lyrics is two ways. He talks about the injustices about prisons and racial issues we have. And he also says, until the president get ashy, Vincent won't be voting, which is, there's two ways to see it. It's either when like the president is like black, because like a lot of people think that black people are very ashy, and Vince Staples is black, and he's like, I guess, using that, saying, until this president is black, I'm gonna start voting. Or a lot of times when people work hard, they get like ashy from like working. So he's also saying when the president like actually starts working on these issues, he's gonna start voting for like what he thinks is right. And also Vince Staples helps his community a lot. Nowadays, a lot of rappers don't really do that. They just like to like flex their like their money, their jewelry, which flexing means like pretty much showing off. And what he a way he helps his community is that he had a GoFundMe page. Originally, it was a joke about him like, if you give me $2 million, he's just gonna like retire. No one would ever hear about him. But then he decided to return the money that everyone like sent him, and the amount he received was $2,000. And although it might seem a little bit, he decided to donate $2,000 to Michelle Obama's Library of Long Beach. And what he was donating to was a library that helps like students get materials for school, like pencils and stuff. And not only that, but the library also helps kids with homework and helps them with school, which is something like a big reason why he stopped going to school, was because he wasn't getting the like necessary resources, so which is like why he stopped. And he also, according to David Renshaw, started supporting the YMCA program at Long Beach. And in the YMCA program, they help kids with like graphic design, music production, things like that. Not really like not really something like math or anything, more like things that like with art. And I think it's like important because he's like trying to like help kids do similar things that he's doing right now, which is like rapping, but into like spreading into different types of like art. And um, in conclusion, Vince Staples for me is a rapper who is proving the hip hop being dead like theories and stuff wrong, because I think he talks a lot about the issues we have today, as opposed to mumble rappers that just like flex their money and talking about like drugs and stuff. And Vince Staples also helps his community, which is something that is very important today, especially like with the issues that we're facing. And we need like the kids are our future, and he's like helping the kids, which in other words he's helping the future be better. Thank you.